Hey and welcome to Neverwinter with Aragon. So in this video I'd like to go over the Goristro Horns and whether they are the best in slot headpiece for a DPS. And then I'll go over a few alternatives if you really just can't be bothered or you're not capable of completing those hunts within Avernus. And I shall also go over what hunts you need to be completing to obtain these Goristro Horns. So first up, let's go over this headpiece. As we can see when we look at the tooltip, whenever we damage our target for more than 10% of our maximum hit points in a single blow, we gain 1% critical strike for 10 seconds, stacking up to 10 times. Meaning, with this headpiece, we can obtain 10% of this critical strike, which is quite a lot, all things considered, when you look at like a mythic companion only giving you 7.5% critical strike. So the reason it's important to get this plus percentage of a certain stat is because we can get to 90% of a particular statistic, but we can only get 50% of it from a rating. So these horns, or this headpiece, helps out mightily to basically divide up these percentages. So when we go in combat and we target this dummy, we can get our statistics to go quite high because of the gear we're using. And especially with those Goristro Horns, we can get this critical strike to 90%. You can see it will fluctuate there a little bit when we have 10 of those stacks and the 10th stack expires. But now we've caught up and we have all 10 stacks and we can fully maintain them. It just means every stack will drop off after 10 seconds, so you're going to have to maintain it and make sure you're always dealing that amount of damage to maintain all of those stacks. Now, if you cannot maintain those stacks, well, most characters can, most classes can, in single target, especially when you're attacking a dummy. For example, a rogue can use Gloaming Cut with a nice high magnitude of 150, which actually increases the lower amount of health your target has. So I'm pretty sure every DPS character will have one of these at wills, whether it's on one paragon or the other, that will have high magnitude, which will allow you to rack up these stacks with just at wills, which is what you want to be having to be able to get these stacks up nice and quickly and then actually maintain them. If you cannot maintain them, then this headpiece might not be for you. And if we look in AoE fights, this headpiece might not be the best, because when you jump into an AoE fight, at the very beginning of the fight is where you want to be having these stacks, and that's just not possible, right? So you might be better off with a headpiece which gives you a constant buff. For example, if we look at the Lion Guard, or you can get the Blessed one now as well, where it will give you this extra power. But the drawback is this is rating power, and thus you can only get a maximum of 50% from the ratings. As we can see there, I'm at 45.6% from my rating, so I could benefit from this. But when we use our actual Forger's box, we can get that all the way to 90%, and thus it's useless to get any more of this power since we're capped. So other ones are, let's say you're running Undermountain content, you would want to be running the Protege Hood, at least for AoE fights, to give you that extra 5% damage. If we look at the Goristro Horns, if you're on 80% critical strike, you use the Goristro Horns to get you to 90%, it will give you just about 5% extra overall damage if you have this critical severity at 90% as well, which is very easily done just by potions and having the Bone Devil's Ribcage. Anyway, these Goristro Horns can be very easily obtained from the Avernus hunts. However, some people might find it harder than others due to the fact of RNG. We're going to go and jump over to the actual Avernus zone. So in order to obtain these Goristro Horns, you're going to have to go and craft the lure up to kill the Whitethorn boss. This is like a tier 1 hunt. Now, in order to obtain the lure for this, you're going to have to first kill Malevolent Nazgûrn and also obtain those gore covered chains by killing those mains. So initially, of course, you want to get the gore covered chain, so you can just go run around in this main area here, the wastes, and you can go and look at all of the spawn locations. Now, they are dotted around in quite numerous locations. I can point them all out to you. It will take some time, so you might be better off looking at another video dedicated to that. But I will go over the malevolent Nazgûrn and their spawning locations, since there are only 4 of them. So I'm going to try and find one of these mains real quick. So you find one of the mains, and yeah, you kill it, and there's a chance it will drop you the gore covered chain, which you need for crafting the lore. So once you have your gore covered chain, then I recommend jumping over where we need to find that fork trophy from those malevolent Nazgûrn. So you want to be jumping over to here. So you can see it's the top part of the map up here, where we first have the Grey Knuckle outpost, and then we have this area with all of those scraggly trees. So what you want to be doing is kill these normal Nazgûrn guys, and once you kill those, there's a chance that you'll get the malevolent ones to spawn. Now there are 4 locations at which the malevolent ones can spawn. The first one is pretty close to where I am located right now. He will spawn just up this way and amongst these trees here, just on this little dais, and that's located on the map just up here where I am. We're going to go to the other 3 locations. Here again we found another one, and we can go and quickly kill him off, and we can see if we get one of those trophies, and no, we don't. The drop chance for those trophies is very annoyingly pretty low, about like 10% or so. So yeah, my bad. There's actually 5 locations for these guys, and that was of the location of this guy we just killed. He's about in the middle, just a little bit north of the Soul Coin heroic. So the other 3 locations are just one over here. We have 2 that will spawn normal ones here. We'll get 1 malevolent which will spawn up here, and another one can spawn just down here. And the final spot where they can spawn is just up here. We can get one of them to spawn in pretty much this normal guy's location. So here we get one of them to spawn. We run up and we kill it, and we get one of those forks, which is the trophy which you need then to go create the lore. So after obtaining your trophy, you need to go and bring that trophy into the Bleeding Citadel. Those 2 trophies, you need the chain and the fork, and you bring them to the master guy, where you can go and craft them up. Now first, you can also go, let's say you're having bad day at dropping those forks or those gore covered chains, you can go and spend your Zariel's favor, which you will grind out with this Redeemed Citadel campaign, and you can spend, I believe it's 3,700 of the Zariel favor to obtain those trophies. You'll need to craft up the Whitehorn chip lore to summon the Whitehorn. You go and you travel all the way through the Bleeding Citadel, out the front, down through the portal, and then you travel, I believe it's like northwest, and to this hexagon, and you'll summon the Whitehorn. He's not too hard to kill, so you could be able to do it solo, but if you want to do it quicker, you can always join in with a party. People will generally join up, literally just for the Zariel's favor. You can always promise to give them the lore if it drops. Anyway, upon killing him, there is again a nasty chance to obtain the Goristro Horns. I believe again, the chance is about 10%, so you'll probably have to kill between 10 and 15 of these guys to actually obtain those Goristro Horns, which we have done here. And these Goristro Horns are definitely worth it in single target, but questioningly in AoE, since it's pretty hard to get these stacks up, and ideally in AoE you want to be able to do maximum damage at the beginning of the fight rather than later on after you've got those stacks. Like after just killing off these guys, we got our critical strike to be at 75.9%, and that was it. Really, we didn't get many of those stacks whatsoever, and that was with then the fight over. For AoE maximizing your damage, it's not so important in the long terms, but if you're running a dungeon and you want to be competitive, you might want to look into getting even better loadout for AoE, and then another one for single target boss fights. So these Goristro Horns are for sure the best for single target fights where you can keep those stacks up. So hopefully I presented this well and it was clear and informative enough. If you have any further questions, feel free to leave them in the comments below and I'll be sure to get back to you. If I presented this well, consider leaving the video a like, and if you're new around here, consider subscribing. And we'll see you guys around. Goodbye for now.